Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the UWS admissions webinar. My name is Liddy, and I'm going to be the admissions counselor going through this program with you today. I'm looking forward to sharing with you more about the program. Today's webinar will be an overview of the University of Western States human nutrition and functional medicine programs. So we'll go over lots of good information in the following slides, but we also encourage you to reach out to an admissions counselor after this. If you have any additional questions, want more information, we'd love to help you. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to drop those in the chat and we'll do our best to answer those. But if we don't get to all of them today, we will definitely be able to follow up with you afterwards. So let's get started. The schedule for today's webinar is just going to be going over a variety of topics. So we'll explore the history of UWS and introduce you to the program directors, but we'll also talk with you about our approach to functional medicine and how that uniquely integrates with our human nutrition program. So we have our graduate certificate, our master's, and our doctoral program. So we'll go over all of those, and then we will also review the curriculum before talking about the entry requirements and the next steps for applying to University of Western States. So we'll also provide a brief overview of tuition and financial aid, the different funding options before ultimately encouraging you again to reach out to an admissions counselor for next steps and see if it's a good fit for you and your goals. So let's move on right to the next slide, and we can go over a little bit about University of Western States. So let's start off with that. University of Western States has a long history at the forefront of health and wellness in the Pacific Northwest. We were founded in 1904 in Portland, Oregon, and we're the second oldest chiropractic college in the world, which is pretty cool. But then as we grew, we integrated other areas of health into our program and curriculum. Our human nutrition and functional medicine master's degree was created after we collaborated with the Institute for Functional Medicine in 2012. Was started then with just 33 students almost 10 years ago, is now a program with over 400 enrolled students. And then since then, we added our Doctor of Clinical Nutrition pathway in 2021. And then since then, we've just continued to ensure our program and curriculum equips students for the different licensure requirements, qualified exams like the CNS that we can go into in more detail, and just making sure our curriculum is meeting the right material. So let's go on next to learn a little bit about our program directors. We have two program directors, Dr. Redwood and Dr. Brown. So our first one, our program's co-director, Dr. Redwood, spent 25 years as a practicing chiropractor, and he's lectured across the country, spent time as a professor, has helped write several textbooks regarding nutrition and health, so definitely well-versed in this topic. And now at UWS, Dr. Redwood helps guide our H&FM programs and just overseeing that department. And then with him is Dr. Chris Brown. Dr. Brown is our other co-director for the Human Nutrition Functional Medicine programs. And fun fact is that Dr. Brown was actually part of the very first graduating class of our master's program. So he can definitely relate as a student for this program. And then his background is in chiropractic, functional medicine, nutrition, which all led him to UWS where he's at now to help guide our programs, teach our capstone course, and just really support our students. So we can move on next. So let's chat a little bit about why, what's unique about each program. So for our master's program, why choose the master's degree? We have partnered with the Institute of Functional Medicine. So we've ensured that the principles of functional medicine are really woven into each course throughout the program. So our collaboration with the IFM brings numerous benefits from using their clinical tools, resources, learning materials in all of the courses. And then it also prepares for the coursework requirements for different licensure and certifications. For example, the CNS, which is a certified nutrition specialist, or the CCN, certified clinical nutritionist, but all while remaining fully online, asynchronous, flexible enrollment options. So just a really great mix of nutrition, functional medicine, and being flexible for yourself. And then similarly for the next one is the graduate certificate program. So, like our master's program, the Graduate Certificate of Human Nutrition Functional Medicine has the principles of functional medicine woven into each and every course that we offer. However, the big difference between these programs is the length. So, you could think of the graduate certificate as more of a mini version of our master's program. It includes just 9 of the courses from the master's program, and is specifically designed for healthcare professionals that already have a master's or doctoral degree, that are wanting to add on to their education, deepen their understanding, and really focus on functional medicine. Really great program there, but it's definitely more of the mini version. And then like the master's program, the program is designed to be fully online, asynchronous, extremely flexible, so you can really get your degree at your own pace, which we'll go into a little bit more later. And then for the DCN program, um, if you already were holding a master's degree in nutrition, this Doctorate of Clinical Nutrition program might be a great fit for you. It's designed to really expand your clinical knowledge. A provider needs to handle more challenging, complex cases in the field. And this degree emphasizes clinical reasoning, patient assessment, as well as functional medicine principles, like our other programs. So definitely implementing that throughout the program as well. And yeah, just a great program there, but specifically for folks who have a master's in nutrition already completed. So let's go on and chat a little bit about what really is functional medicine, and what do we mean when we talk about functional medicine at University of Western States. So for functional medicine, this is like a science-based healthcare field that focuses on assessment, management, basically maximizing and ultimately restoring a patient's physical, emotional health, looking at the whole picture, the root cause issues, looking at all the different things that could be affecting their health. So essentially, functional medicine is a way to approach health care that factors in their diet, environment, lifestyle, genetics, and more, just to ultimately look at the patient's overall health and wellness. So an analogy that we commonly use for functional medicine is thinking of a patient's wellness like a house. So if there was a leak in the roof that appeared, you can easily put a bucket underneath that leak to catch any of the runoff water, but that's not simply enough to just replace the buckets when they get full. In order to really restore the house and bring it back to its full potential and back to a healthy state, you would want to address that root cause issue, address that leak in the roof. So that's really what functional medicine is, looking at that root cause issue, figuring out what's going on with your client or patient, and really supporting their overall wellness. So then let's move on to the HNFM community. So student demographics, and then also a variety of, instructors, a lot of different background. So our HNFM community come from different backgrounds. We have students from all over the world, since international students are eligible for this program, and they're in a lot of different phases of their careers. For some, maybe they're just starting, this is the first step down this path of healthcare and nutrition. They come from a different career and making a career change. But for others, maybe they do have an experience or background in healthcare field for several years, and they're looking to add nutrition and functional medicine. Personally, as an admissions counselor, I've talked with applicants from all walks of life. Maybe you're making a big career change in the field because of a personal experience you had with nutrition, or I've had lots of students too who have had a personal experience with a functional medicine practitioner that really helped change their life and help with their own wellness. So now they're interested in making that career change. Or I've had lots of students who do work in healthcare, maybe lots of nurses who want to do more, want to learn more on how to best support their patients besides just nursing. But so no matter what your background is, I just want you to know that there is definitely a space for you in this community. And our instructors are just as varied, with previous experiences in chiropractic, nutrition, medicine, many other fields. So instructors have a deep knowledge to pull from in a variety of areas. So we definitely encourage strong relations between instructors and your other students for that continued dialogue, just as you explore nutrition and really branch out into the different areas that this can be applied to. So now we can chat a little bit about our specific programs, what those requirements are, and what that would entail. So um, start with the master's program. So the master's program is the most common program that applicants are eligible for. Our master's degree is completely online, asynchronous. It's definitely designed to be flexible. So it can be completed in anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on the pace of the student. That's dependent on the number of courses that you, as a student, want to enroll in each term. But there are 56 credits total. So a bachelor's degree in any field, whether it's nutrition, business, psychology, you name it, with a 2.75 GPA or higher is needed to be eligible. Then to ensure you have the necessary science background to be successful in the program, there are 4 science prerequisites that are required before joining. Those 4 courses are physiology, or that can be commonly anatomy and physiology, and then biology, biochemistry, and nutrition. Um, if you do not have the necessary GPAs, you can see here, please just contact an admissions counselor and we can chat with you about your unique case, but a GRE test might be required. So now we can look at a couple questions. Okay, great. Yeah, one question is, one person asked if the prerequisite course, do the prerequisite courses need a laboratory component? No, the prerequisite courses do not need a laboratory component, only the lecture is required. So good question. And another question is, can we complete these courses at University of Western States? I'm only missing biochemistry and I want to start this fall. That's a really great question too. There are a few things to note with this. So first, the only prerequisite course that UWS offers is biochemistry through what we call our biochemistry elective track. So this track allows students to complete biochemistry during the master's program. So not completing it beforehand, but doing it during the master's program. And then it would take place of one of your 2 electives in the program so that you don't have to do it beforehand. And then in order to be eligible for this track, you must have a general chemistry course completed with a C- grade or higher. So we can definitely chat more with you about your specific case, but biochemistry is the only course we offer at UWS. So yeah, and again, in your case, since you have those 3 other prerequisites completed, and if you had a general chemistry course, you would be eligible for that biochemistry track. But if you did not have general chemistry completed, or some of the other prerequisite courses, there are external sites that we'll cover in a couple slides that you can look at for completing those prerequisites outside of UWS. And we can also have you reach out to the admissions department to give you more details about that. Okay, and then another question is there a time limit on these prerequisites? I have some of the courses, but they're from a long time ago. Another really great question, definitely applies to lots of students, so thank you. The only prerequisite course with a time limit is also biochemistry. So biochemistry needs to be completed within the last 8 years. But all other courses, the biology, physiology, and nutrition can be completed from any time. So 20 years ago, 10 years ago, anything is fine, but just biochemistry has that time limit. Okay, and then another question from the chat is, do they have to be completed with a certain grade to count? Another really great question. So prerequisites need to be completed with a C- grade or higher to count. Okay, and then one more question before we move on is, can I apply or get accepted with some of the prerequisites completed? Great question. So once 2 out of 4, so half of the prerequisites are completed, 2 out of 4 prerequisites are completed, applicants can apply, interview, and even receive their admissions decision. Then if accepted, a student would receive a conditional acceptance, which means your remaining prerequisites are still required. Those other 2 are still needed, but you would be able to receive your acceptance and then complete those courses before the deadline. So a really great question. Again, once you have 2 out of 4 prerequisites, you can apply. Okay, let's move on to the graduate certificate program. So our graduate certificate is also completely online and asynchronous. It's designed to be flexible, just like the master's program. It can be completed in 1 to 3 years, so definitely shorter since it's only 30 credits total, rather than the full master's program like we chatted about. So also super flexible online. Our graduate certificate, though, is meant specifically for healthcare professionals with previous clinical experience. Applicants must have a master's or doctoral degree in a healthcare discipline with a 3.0 GPA or higher in order to qualify. So, like the master's program, it also has these same 4 prerequisites. So as we discussed, the biochemistry prerequisite is the only course with a time limit. So that does still apply. So within 8 years is when biochemistry should be completed, but the other 3 prereqs can be completed from any time. But one big difference between the prerequisite options from the master's to the certificate is there is not a biochemistry elective track for the graduate certificate option. That option to do the biochemistry as an elective during the program is not possible for the certificate. So just something to keep in mind. But again, feel free to chat with one of our admissions counselors after this to get you more information. We can chat about your specific case. Perfect. And then, yes, I see one quick question that popped up in the chat is, are you able to review my transcripts to see which courses I still need? Yes, 100%. Our admissions counselors are happy to review your transcripts, let you know which courses you still need. So feel free to reach out to the admissions department or your admissions counselor to help you with that. Perfect. So let's move on to the doctorate program. So our doctorate of clinical nutrition program is our newest degree, like we talked about in the history of UWS. This program requires a master's in nutrition before you can join this program. So a little bit more specific, this is a cohort style program as well too. So it's a 2-year doctorate program designed to really expand your clinical toolkit. Functional medicine prerequisite is one of the courses that we can chat with you more specifically. Maybe if you don't have a functional medicine prerequisite, we can chat with you about that specifically. But so like I was saying, this program is entirely online. It does have no in-person requirements at all, but it is a 2-year program and cannot be done quicker or slower. So our other programs have a little bit of flexibility where you can decide how many courses to enroll in, has that 1 to 3 or 2 to 5 year range, but this is specifically a lockstep program where it's going to be exactly 2 years long, and there's no option to go quicker or slower, but definitely still fully online to remain flexible. But applicants do have to have specifically a master's in nutrition with a 3.0 GPA or higher. And then there are some new necessary prerequisites for this program as well. But like I mentioned, reach out to admissions counselor and we can look at your unique case. Let's see. One quick question from the chat is, I have a master's degree, but it's not in nutrition. Does this mean I'm not eligible? Yes, unfortunately, that is correct. The DCN program is specifically designed to build off of a master's in nutrition, so no other field would be accepted for this particular program. And then one more question before we move on is, I do have a master's in nutrition, but I do not believe my program had a functional medicine course. Can I complete this course at UWS? Yeah, great question. We can definitely chat with you about your specific case as well, like I was mentioning, but you can complete this course at UWS through what we call our graduate non-degree program. And you can also complete this course through the Institute of Functional Medicine directly. Because of our collaboration with the Institute of Functional Medicine, you're able to get that course at a discounted rate as well. So reach out to one of your advisor and we would love to help you with that. All right. Let's move on to the different prerequisite options. We'll just cover this briefly, but you can definitely feel free to connect with an admissions counselor to get you more detail and get you more specifics on which prereqs you're still missing. So for students that need additional prerequisite courses, there's a few different options. UWS recommends, if there's a local college in your area. There's also several convenient online institutions that we've listed here. So if you're in need of any suggestions on where you can complete these are good options to look into. But again, contact the admissions counselor and we'd love to help with more specific instruction. All right, now we can do a little brief overview of the curriculum, what you can expect for the different programs. So for the master's program, the curriculum is designed with a functional medicine emphasis, as we discussed, and it integrates whole food nutrition with strategies for health promotion, disease prevention to best support your patients and clients. So students will begin with 4 foundational courses in nutrition and functional medicine before going deeper into the specific nutritional topics. As the degree progresses, you'll also have clinically focused courses addressing specific health topics to get and then complete your capstone research paper, which is at the end of the program. You'll have your capstone. We typically get a lot of questions about the capstone, but this course is taken again the last quarter of study, and each student produces a scholarly paper on a subject related to nutrition or functional medicine. But this course will still be fully online with no in-person requirements. So that's super great fact that can be remain flexible as well. And then now let's move on to the elective options that you'll have. There are a variety of elective options at University of Western States. So you can definitely look at this list here, but an admissions counselor can also get you the link for our catalog if you want to read the course descriptions, which can always be really helpful. One common course that students are excited about from ones I chat with is botanical medicine. So this course really just goes deeper into medical botany, herbology, the history, composition, different therapeutic uses of botanical medicine. So that one's really one that's really popular. And then there's also the supervised nutrition mentorship electives. So this is really common as well too. It does require program director approval, but it is designed to provide some practical experiences to help students explore various career opportunities and improve practical knowledge and skills within the field of nutrition. So that one's really popular as well too, with program director approval, but essentially allows you to get some CNS hours completed during the program. And then again, for more information on our curriculum, just head to the website or just reach out to admissions and we'll point you in the right direction. One quick question from the chat is, can I take more electives? There's more than 2 I'm interested in taking. Yeah, great question. For the master's program, there is only 2 electives that will be included. However, once you're in the program, you can definitely reach out to the program director and see if it's an option to audit a course where you can complete the course, not get a grade for it, but still be able to be a part of it and learn that curriculum and that content. So definitely a good question for the program director once you're a student at UWS. All right, now our graduate certificate curriculum. Now you can see this is much smaller. Like we discussed, it's a mini version of the master's program. So our graduate certificate program is for healthcare professionals, and it follows a similar progression to our master's program. Though it's important to note that the graduate certificate only has 1 elective option and does not have a capstone. So it really is just a mini version of the program, those 9 classes. So let us know if you have any questions about that, or you can check out the website as well too to see more information on those course descriptions. Okay, so our Doctorate of Clinical Nutrition program dives deeper into functional medicine content that prepares students for clinical settings. As we previously discussed, the program is a lockstep cohort schedule. So the schedule here on the right will be your schedule. I can pause here for a second for you to look at that if you're interested, just kind of see what your exact schedule would be. So broken down into each quarter, the courses that you can expect to take and all of that. So you can take a look at that. But as you can note, there are no electives for this program. So there is still a capstone similar to the master's program, which would be taken the last quarter of study, where each student will complete a case report project integrating the skills that you've learned throughout the program and the knowledge that you've gained during the program. So still a capstone, but again, no elective options. And then feel free to reach out to admissions and we can point you in the right direction if you want to read the course descriptions like we discussed, but you can also check out the website. Okay, so now a little bit about the structure of the online programs. So the structure of the online program is designed for busy professionals in mind. Our calendar operates off a quarter system, with each quarter consisting of 11-week terms, and then you get a 2-week break after. So 11 weeks on, and then 2-week break before jumping into the next term. So it is working throughout the year, but with smaller terms. And then for the master's and certificate program, you can decide how many courses to enroll in each term to adjust that workload and that overall length of completion. So this can vary from 1 to 3 classes per term, but the most common enrollment is 2 courses per term. So that can give you an idea of most common, but again, anywhere from 1 to 3 classes per term. And then whereas the DCN program, like we chatted about already, is a fixed schedule. So you have to stick to that schedule. There's only one entry term for that program, so the classes are only offered once a year. So that's why it sticks to that schedule, and you have to stick to that pacing of 2 to 3 classes per term. So just briefly, you can see this example of your time commitment example, but when determining how many courses to enroll in for your program, or like how much time you should expect to spend, a general rule of thumb is to plan for 3 hours per credit per week. So for example, if you were enrolled in 7 credits for the fall term, you should expect about 21 hours of work a week. So it's definitely an average time spent. Every student, will have more or less time based on their individual experience and skills, but that's a good rule of thumb to sort of predict how much time you actually will be spending. Perfect. So a little bit about the course structure. Our online courses have features that invite students to learn in several different ways. So students are assigned weekly readings and lectures, as well as weekly discussion forums. There, you'll be able to use the UWS expansive library to support your discussions and exchange ideas and findings. Learning will be assessed through papers, projects, weekly quizzes, and then each course length, like we chatted about already, is 11 weeks long. And typically at the end of that, the end of each course, they would have a final exam. So it's a little bit what you can expect from the curriculum and the structure. All right, now for career pathways, for all current and prospective students, I always like to start off by saying UWS really emphasizes the importance of being familiar with legislation and laws in your local area regarding your future career path. So the nutritionist career path requires licensure, which varies state by state. So a valuable resource you can check out is the American Nutrition Association advocacy page. So the link is there, but you can also, again, reach out to admissions. We can provide that for you to learn more about the particular laws in your state and just keep you updated on the newest, rules and requirements you should be aware of. So you can go to the ANA.org/advocate for that. And then as for completing the Master's in Human Nutrition Functional Medicine program, it does satisfy all the coursework requirements to sit for several certification exams for careers in nutrition. So that would include the CNS, the CCN, and the DACBN. And then also the exam results are something to highlight here. Graduates who took the Certified Nutrition Specialist exam December 2023, our pass rate was 92%, which is really great compared to the national rate of just 73%. So definitely preparing you for that CNS licensure if that's something that you're interested in pursuing. And if you have specific questions about licensure, scope of practice, again, please feel free to reach out to admissions. We'd love to connect with you or even connect you with our program directors who can give you more detailed information. So for the HNFM Master's and Graduate Certificate graduates, they pursue a variety of careers from personalized nutrition coaching to education to health services. Many choose to sit for those recognized licensure exams that we covered on the previous slide. So definitely a wide variety of career outlooks there. And then lots of UWS students are also interested in continuing their education. So whether that's with us through the UWS Doctor of Clinical Nutrition education program to expand their skills and handle more complex cases, or if they pursue to continue their education elsewhere. The Institute of Functional Medicine is a really common example. You can pursue being a functional medicine practitioner through the IFM separately if desired. So that collaboration with the IFM allows for UWS students to actually receive discounts on IFM offerings while you're a student. So that's a really great benefit as well too if you do want to pursue continued education through the IFM. And then as for our alumni network, UWS has a robust network of professionals from our alumni services department to supervise mentorships that can help connect recent graduates and current students to the UWS network. And then this map here just shows some of our alumni, definitely more, but this is from our alumni map that we can also get you a link for by connecting with admissions. But it just says a great way to see what different alumni are doing, where they're located. So that's one great resource we can get you. But a couple other things worth mentioning is the switchboard. So this is just a digital space to connect with UWS community. So people are able to ask and offer, so ask for what they need or offer what they have to share. So that's a great way to connect and with alumni and share, possible job offerings or connections. So that's a great way to do that. And then the last thing is just the different presence at conferences or events. That's a huge benefit as well too. So we recently attended the IFM conference, which is a great way to connect the UWS alumni, students, faculty, and just other professionals in the field too. So those presence at different conferences and events is huge as well. All right, so to start off for when should I apply, we highly recommend connecting with an admissions counselor for an advising call. We'll be able to help determine whether or not UWS is the right fit for you specifically and your goals, answer any additional questions that you may have that we may not be able to cover today in the webinar, and then just prepare you for next steps for that enrollment process. So definitely feel free to reach out, and we'll include the contact information as well at the end of this webinar. But we definitely recommend you reach out as soon as possible if you're interested in starting, especially if you have missing prerequisite courses, so we can create a game plan with you so that those can be done before you start. And as for when you are able to apply, for the master's and the certificate program, we have both a spring and a fall start. However, for the DCN program, since it's only that one entry term a year, we only have a fall entry term. So it's also important to note that UWS has rolling acceptance, so you can apply in advance and get your admissions decision as soon as possible. So we'll go a little bit into detail about that later, but we do have that rolling acceptance. But we are approaching our fall deadline soon, so if you're interested in applying for the fall and starting in October, definitely feel free to reach out as soon as you can. All right, so now as for what do I need to apply? If you're ready to apply to University of Western States, again, we definitely recommend connecting with an admissions counselor first that can cover next steps with you in more detail and talk about your specific case. But as for the required admissions documents, we require a submitted application. There is a $50 application fee. Then we'll also need official transcripts from any college or university that you've attended, as well as your resume, 2 recommendations, a short entrance essay about your career goals, and then a plan if you have any missing prerequisites, just a plan for completing those prerequisites. And then once your application and required documents are submitted, and we have again at least 2 out of 4 prerequisites to be able to move forward with the application process, a personal interview with one of the co-directors or faculty member is required. So this would be a Zoom call, and it would be again an interview once your application is completed and all of your documents are on file. And then typically once accepted, admitted students can receive their admissions decision pretty quickly after that interview is completed because of that rolling acceptance. And then once you're accepted, admitted students can confirm their spot, so confirm that you'll be joining the cohort by submitting a $300 tuition deposit, which will be applied to your first quarter's cost of attendance. So it's a little bit on what you need to apply, how that process will work. But again, if you have any questions, reach out to admissions. So now we can cover a little bit about tuition. So tuition is calculated by credit hour rather than the cost of the full year or for the full program. So we do a per credit cost because, as we discussed, you can customize for a master's and graduate certificate how long that'll take. So you won't be penalized for going slower. So here you can see the current price per credit and the current cost of the program for each one. So for instance, the master's program is 56 credits total, and there's 592, it's $592 per credit. So that would be a current cost of $33,152 for that total cost of tuition currently. So again, if you have any questions, reach out to us, but next we'll go into the different funding options that we have available. So now we can go into the different options for financing your program. We definitely know that going back to school is not only a time commitment, but it's also a financial commitment. So financial aid and payment plans are available for all 3 degrees that we've covered today, as well as different scholarships available for online students. And then you can also contact our financial aid office or head to our website. I have some helpful resources here, but we can also answer some questions for you. I do like to highlight if you are a veteran, a member of the reserves, member of National Guard, and you plan to attend University of Western States, you might be eligible for some benefits through the Veterans Administration. So feel free to check your eligibility status and let us know if you have any questions at all. We can get you in touch with one of our veterans coordinators. And then as for financial aid, our programs, again, are eligible for financial aid. Students must be enrolled in 3 quarter credits each term, and each class is typically 3 to 4 credits. So again, students must be enrolled in 3 quarter credits each term and remain in good academic standing throughout the completion of their degree to qualify for financial aid at UWS. And then students who wish to apply for financial aid or payment plans can definitely do that and reach out to us if you have questions. But if you haven't already, feel free to complete your 2024-2025 FAFSA, the application, and include our school code that I've listed here. So yeah, let us know if you have any questions at all, but definitely lots of good funding options. All right. And then we can go into, so just final steps to keep in mind. So we have several admissions counselors that would love to connect with you, and they have easy way of booking appointments. So we can definitely get you in touch with them. And the busiest time of year is typically 2 months before an application deadline. But again, we do have that year-round rolling acceptance. So feel free to reach out to us and we can chat about this timeline that will be best for you. But here we've also included the different deadlines and start terms for our 2 entry terms. But as a reminder, the DCN program only has a fall start. So that's one good thing to keep in mind if you're a DCN student. And then if you're ready to take next steps towards your degree at UWS, we recommend exploring the website and reaching out again to an admissions advisor for an appointment. Most students find it helpful to reach out at least 6 months before the start of their program, but definitely not required. So feel free to reach out to us when you're ready. And again, the DCN program only has a fall start. Lastly, I know there's more questions in the chat that we didn't have time to address today. However, our admissions staff is always happy to connect with you and get those questions answered. So we would love to get connected with you, give you more information. They can meet with you about your specific case, whether it's reviewing transcripts or just chatting about your specific goals. So to connect to an admissions counselor, contact our office. You can contact the just Office of Admissions. The email and phone number are here. Or if maybe you've already connected with an admissions counselor, you can reach out directly to them and they'll be able to connect you or chat with you about next steps. And then you can also check out our frequently asked questions page, which has some great information about the program, some just frequently asked questions that you can review. So you can find that on our website. And then lastly, if you have specific questions about financial aid or want to chat with our financial aid department, their contact information is listed here for you again. So reach out to them if you have specific questions, or your advisor can point you in the right direction. But we really look forward to just helping you determine if UWS is the right fit for you, go over your specific goals and your specific case. But thank you everyone so much for attending our webinar today. We look forward to connecting with you soon, and have a great day.